Hi there. Welcome to this episode of 25 for 25. This time around, we're going to take a look at vacation snapshots from the last decade of the 19th century. These 6 photographs are going to tell us a story about the birth of amateur photography, about the opening of the Western United States. They're going to tell us a story about the power of technology to open our world and expand our world. So let's take a trip together. I hope you enjoy.
This group of photographs was acquired for the collection in 2020. There are 6 photographs in all, and each is mounted to a board overall measuring 3 inches by 6 inches. The photographic image is distinctively circular. Other than the handwritten caption and number on each, presumably written by the photographer, there is no other documentation of who made the photographs, when they were made, or why. The reverse side of each photograph bears the logo of the Eastman Dry Plate and Film Company of Rochester, New York. We know that the camera used to make these photographs is the Kodak No. 1, introduced in 1888 by the Eastman Dry Plate and Film Company. The camera is a 3¼ inch by 6½ inch box covered in Turkey Morocco leather and weighing 1 pound and 10 ounces. When purchased, it arrived preloaded for 100 exposures and was made portable by its handheld size and leather carrying case. Advertising for the new Kodak No. 1 camera promised that anybody who can wind a watch can use the Kodak camera. The operation of taking a picture was simply to point the camera and press a button. And so was born the Kodak slogan, "You press the button and we do the rest." And the rest included developing and printing the photographs, something previously known only to the professional photographer. This advertisement describes the division of labor in the new Kodak system of photography. After the 100 pictures have been taken, the strip of film may be removed and sent by mail to the factory to have the pictures finished. Reloading the camera with a new spool of film costs $2. The camera could be purchased for $25. From those who could afford it, the amateur photographer emerged. So simple was the process of making photographs using the Kodak system that the company encouraged camera owners to allow even their children to take pictures. Kodak means photography with the bother left out. 100 years later, curator Sarah Greenout of the exhibition on the art of fixing a shadow wrote, "With these inventions, it was now possible for most middle-class people not only to own photographs of their friends and loved ones, but also to own cameras. For the first time, the general public did not simply have to receive second-hand visual information, but could create photographs for themselves. The choice of what to photograph and how, now in the hands of anyone who could afford the camera, altered photography as it was known and introduced imagery not yet seen." Unsure what to photograph? The Eastman Company could help with that too. A picturesque diary of your trip to Europe, to the mountains, or the seashore may be obtained without trouble with a Kodak camera that will be worth 100 times its cost in after years. Returning to our set of vacation snapshots, these few surviving from a 100 exposure roll taken with a Kodak No. 1 camera show a group of middle-class travelers exploring the West, in this case Yellowstone National Park and the Cascade Basin in Washington State. Yellowstone National Park was established in 1872. Early visitors to the park traveled to West Yellowstone or Gardner, Montana by train on the Northern Pacific Railroad. In this snapshot, our traveler has chosen to photograph the interior of the train's passenger car. The seats are upholstered with velvet, and from the ceiling of the car hang gas chandeliers. On closer inspection, 2 passengers are faintly visible in the back of the car. Early visitors explored the park by stagecoach. Stagecoaches carried tourists through the park from 1886 to 1917, the year automobiles were allowed into the park. Arriving at the railroad station in Montana, our traveler has photographed the stagecoach run by the Yellowstone National Transportation Company, which is picking up tourists to transport them into the park. We can see the rail cars behind the stagecoach and the stagecoach entering the park. The sides of the coach are open to maximize the view of the scenery. The distance from the train depot in Gardner to the hotel in the park was 5 miles. The coach seated 10 passengers, and a loop tour of the park took 5 days. Leslie Quinn, an interpretive specialist with Yellowstone National Park Lodges, shared, "It must have been an utterly charming way to see all of Yellowstone at 10 miles an hour. And it's amazing to think about what a different time it was. Coming to see Yellowstone then was for the most part a very different experience than ours of today." By 1890, it was possible to get all the way to the Pacific Northwest by train. The Northern Pacific's Transcontinental Railroad to Puget Sound was completed in 1883. Passengers could be picked up by steamboat and tour Seattle and the Columbia River. Disembarking in Seattle, our traveler has decided to photograph the group from behind as they exit the boat and explore the port of Seattle. Seattle can be seen painted above one of the buildings. The last snapshot in our set shows the group walking a plank from the shore to the steamboat after a tour of the Cascade Mountains. From these surviving 6 snapshots made with the Kodak No. 1, we get a glimpse into the world of the Kodaker, who brought their vacation home in a Kodak for vacation days or Kodak days.